Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to Michigan International Raceway. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight is Chris Wright and Brenton Jones III. Guys, how you doing here tonight?
Doing great. The Irish Hills sunshine is blessing us today. The Tigers may not be playing good baseball, but these guys are probably playing a better show than they did in Tampa. Those guys did in Tampa this past weekend.
Doing great, ready to get started, wrapping up qualifying here. Should be a fun race, full distance tonight too, right? So we're going to have some extra tires, extra laps.
Yeah, as you can see there, we're just switching over from qualifying to the race here. And as you see on our pre-race report, 125 laps tonight, 7 sets of tires. That's 1 on the car, 6 in the pits. Defending race winner here is Garrison Hogan from the 2022A season when the Grand National Series visited Michigan here. And a big key to victory tonight and always is patience. Be sure to be patient all night long and you'll put yourself in a position to get it done. But guys, let's take a look at the grid here tonight. It does look like Jay Kaner was able to put his car on that pole tonight. So a great opportunity for Jay to try to work his way towards a victory here. John Cutlip there in second. Josh Adams third. Trey Holmes in fourth. David Tooker fifth. Scott Crump sixth. Tyler Fody there in the seventh position. Just a little bit further behind there, Jeff Green, Tyler Popp, and Joe Francis. Chris, why don't you take us through to the 20th position?
Yeah, and then in 11th, we have Brandon Ultra. 12th place, sneaky guy that might be pretty good tonight. Johnny Thomas was pretty good in practice, qualified here in 11th. Somebody to watch tonight. Ethan Stanley there in 13th. Josh Robin, Hunter Smith, round out the top 15. Then we got Corey Abbott, Michael Hosack, David Carpenter, Chad Frankenfield, and Caleb Thompson rounding out the top 20.
Brent Jones, take us down to P30, buddy.
All right, we got Wyatt Knadel starting 21st, Leighton Nogarden 22nd. That beautiful purple car he's running tonight. As always, you got Jacob Adams 23rd, Jesse Rasmus 24th, Michael Klein 25th, 26th Casey Hatch, 27th Andrew Hardcastle in another beautiful purple car, 28th Justin Vandermeer in the Interstate Battery Chevy, 29th is Brad Key in the Don Russ Chevy, and 30th is that beautiful Jeff Green throwback, as always, lately, Dustin the Dragon Doer.
31st is Seth Rawls alongside Rory Collins in the number 62. Michael Goodman Jr. in the number 44 rolls off 33rd tonight alongside Robert Smith. Mark Rebilas, the presenting sponsor of this Mark Rebilas Photography Grand National Series, rolls off 35th alongside Kwame Scott. Back there in 37th, of course, Garrison Hogan alongside Gerald Campbell. And rounding out the field is Harrison Talon. You also see a 66 car. That is just race controller tonight, Cody Harrington, that, of course, will not take the green flag. But as you see the field rolling off here tonight, we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at our points entering tonight's race. Of course, getting to that late stage of the season, and Tyler Fody, the only driver locked in. We're looking like we're having a little glitch on the scoring there. Josh Hodges is not second. That is Josh Adams and a few others. So we'll actually skip that for now as we work to get that fixed up. But out on the racetrack, it is Jay Kaner, John Cutlip on the front row. Guys, why don't we go ahead and make some race picks, and we'll start with Brenton.
I think my pick is gonna go with John tonight. Jonathan in the 28 tonight. He's got, usually that's a Clark's car. I call him Jonathan Clark lately, but that he's been really stout lately. I think he's looking for another win tonight.
All right, I got some intel before the race. Talked to some drivers. I am going to be picking the 2000 Busch champ Jeff Green to take home the victory tonight in the Irish Hills.
So John Cutlip and Jefe Verde, the early picks here tonight for the victory. I'm going to have to go with the driver of the number 56 machine, Josh Adams, fresh off a victory here not too long ago, and looking to take another one here tonight. Josh Adams, my pick for the victory. Green flag is out, of course, as you saw, and just to note here on the scoring tower, you see Tyler Fode's name indicated in green. That means that he is locked into the playoffs. We have a few others, Josh Adams and company, that are locked into the top 25 in points, but still a little bit of work to do to officially lock themselves in the 2023A playoffs. But as of right now, Jay Kaner and Josh Adams looking very good up there. John Cutlip down a spot. Tyler Fode up 4, as well as Tyler Popp. So Tyler Popp moving up currently from the 9th position all the way to 5th at this point, and going to look to continue his climb towards the front of the field. A little bit of an incident further back here. Looks like we had a couple cars get into each other. Brent, you might have a bit more information on that.
Yeah, it looks like the 04 brushed the wall and it caused a cascading effect on the high line a little bit. Fortunately, it didn't look like it was anything else other than the 12-tunnel void, and then we'll check up from there.
A little bit of a concertina effect, you might say, or Mark Murphy might say. But,
right, you are, Robert.
Absolutely correct there. Just taking a little bit of a peek towards the rear of the field, as we mentioned, Mark Rebilas, presenting partner of the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. Check out rebilasphoto.com for all your photography needs. So we're having a little graphical issue there where the race name is not showing up on the tower. This is the Michigan 250. Nothing too fancy at all here tonight. But
and there's something about to happen here too on lap 4. I did not think we'd be talking about this, but there is a lap car just out in front of the leaders here, so they're going to have to deal with a little bit of traffic here.
Lap car, I do believe Harrison Talon ahead of the race leader Jay Kaner. That is correct. So Harrison currently not too far ahead of our race leader Jay Kaner. This may allow Josh Adams to make a move here. Adams already stalking down that number 9 car, and what I've noticed is there's been a lot of shuffling throughout the field here already. We see drivers that have dropped a bunch of positions. Dave Carpenter back here, he's down 8 spots already. Joe Francis and Jeff Green down 6 as well, and then you've guys like Chad Frankenfield up 7, Jake Adams up 8. So a lot of shuffling here early on, but we're going to watch Harrison Talon here as he looks to go. I do believe that'll be just 1 lap down for Harrison Talon here early on.
Well, not yet. They haven't got to him yet, but one thing about these shuffling drivers early is we typically have a lot of green flag laps here at Michigan. Tire wear's big factor. Fuel window tonight's going to be 38 to 42 laps, depending on how much throttle you use if you try to save a little bit. So these guys are going to be making 2 stops more than likely, trying to make it on 2 stops, trying to get to that 40 number. Because, of course, 40 will get you to 80, and 80 will get you to 120. So not a whole lot of cautions. I don't expect to see a whole lot of yellows tonight. So a lot of these guys probably are trying to be a little smarter about not pushing too hard too early here. But one of those guys that is going ahead and trying to get all of his spots here early is Chad Frankenfield. He started 19th, and he's already on the back door of the top 10 here.
Does that really surprise you, Chris? The Chad's pushing hard. Really? Oh, Josh Robin jumps to the inside of Chad there. It doesn't really surprise me that that's the case here with Chad pushing a lot early on. And I go back to our key to the race tonight. Our key to victory was patience. And, you know, putting your car on the line early on, pushing as hard as you can in a race that typically does go towards the longer green flag runs, that might not be the best move when it comes to preserving your tires and having a shot there at the end of the event.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you kind of, you know, if you don't have track position, you want to get it. And another car that's really pushed hard here at the start, we got Jacob Adams, who climbed up from 23rd to inside the top 15. So a lot of these guys are just trying, you know, the theory of, hey, we don't have track position. We started
Jacob
around
Adams,
20th.
3 wide. Chad Frankenfield, Johnny Thomas, he backs out of it.
And Johnny Thomas there on the screen, he was really sporty there in practice. Like, I would not be shocked to see him make his way towards the front at some point as we got a lead change here into 3. Jay's going to let him go. I thought maybe he just backed up early to get a big run.
Josh was the leader just a moment ago. He actually was out in front of Jay Kaner but Jay got himself a nice run there to be able to get back up alongside the Josh Adams machine. Have they passed Harrison Talon yet? They have not. So they are still coming up on the 51 machine of Harrison Talon, which could come into play here eventually. You see here, though, Josh Adams kind of sliding up a little bit more, and that bottom lane's kind of starting to push up already, which is interesting to see very early on here. Just taking a look a little bit further back, Tyler Popp continuing his climb up. He's now chasing down Tyler Fody as he has gotten by Scott Crump. Crump actually currently on vacation, and yesterday during the truck race, I saw a photo of him, and he was racing outside on a patio, so that was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, obviously wherever he's at, it's got some good weather if he's able to race outside. So.
He is down in Florida doing a bit of sport fishing, I do believe, on a charter. It sounded like he was going out fishing for some mahi-mahi today. So very interesting. Brent, what's your experience here? This is your home track, is it not?
Yes, it is. I live about maybe 2.5 hours on this track, depending on travel distance and the route you take.
Well, whatever route you're taking is pretty darn quick. So 2 hours, not too bad. It's about 11 hours for me. Chris, I think probably even further for you.
No. I live right next. I live in Ohio, right next door. It's only.
I have no idea where Ohio is compared to Michigan.
I'm about 3.5 hours or so away from the speedway here. I'm in a unique spot where I'm about 2 hours from Kentucky, 2 hours from Indy, and about 3.5 from Michigan.
Okay, it's not too bad. Dustin Durr just got the wall there. A little bit of contact for him. Now he's back with Mike Goodman there, 32nd, 33rd. But one thing I want to point out here, Corey Abbott started up in the 16th position, currently running in the 30th.
Oh, 3 wide here on the front stretch. Up contact. Chad Frankenfield's in the grass.
Whoa! Oh, trouble.
Chad doing some landscaping, staying on the gas pedal here. He's going to re-merge onto the raceway. I want to see what happened there.
They 3 wide. I was just talking about it. Chad's going to make a 3 wide move. I'm not sure if there was contact between the 8 and the 45, but we'll see right here on the replay.
Going up to the blimp cam, looks like a little bit of contact into the left rear of Josh Robin there. The top pinch is, who's that driver
Brandon Ultra
on
there.
the top? Brandon Ultra, new scheme for him. Comes
he's
down
away
into
from that
Josh
Adam
Robin. Robin comes down into Chad. Josh Robin blinks, sends Chad into the infield, and away we go with a little incident there. One thing to point out, Jay Kaner losing spots now. I think he wore some of the good off of his tires, as now he's battling for the 3rd position very tightly with Tyler Popp there. Tyler Fody has gotten by. Fody's just out here looking to stack them playoff points at this point.
Jay raced Josh really hard on the top off the main line there. Used up more rubber when you're running up in the non-preferred line. So I think Jay raced him really hard and has kind of abused his tires. But back to the Chad situation, we were just talking about that. You said, do you want to be that aggressive early? We got a full distance race. It's 120 laps. And Chad it wasn't Chad's fault that the accident happened. Well, not an accident, but the contact happened. And it wasn't Josh Robin's fault either. Brandon Ultra just, kind of came down. He might not have known they were 3 wide, whatever the case may be. But, when you make a move 3 wide here on that 14 out of 120, that maybe you don't need to be making it. It's a long race. Don't need to go and get it all at the start.
That incident there with Chad Frankenfield, Josh Robin, and Brandon Ultra took place back on lap 12, so only 10% of the race distance had taken place at the time. A little bit early to be making moves like that. You kind of have to be strategic and make moves that make sense. One thing to point out here, Gerald Campbell did not take the green flag here tonight. Not sure what happened there, but looks like he did miss the call to start tonight's race.
I think that there is some kind of connection issue or some kind of issue. He was in here for practice. I had a conversation with that team before the race, and I think they were having some issues with some kind of connectivity there, some kind of situation.
Yep. And to touch on the Kaner part from earlier, this track probably is one of these tracks in this service that's notorious for tie-off conditions on the exits. So you want to pay attention as this run goes along, especially off at 4 of guys hitting the wall with tires that are pretty well used up on the right front. So we might want to start paying attention to that here soon.
Yeah, and one thing Jay might be able to do too to kind of bring that back is something that I've learned over the years here at Michigan and racing a lot of times here is once it starts getting tight, just back up your entry, because that's where it's worse for me anyway when I race here is the entry. You can kind of straddle a seam and crank that wheel to the left and give it some gas, and you can get that right rear to catch back up to that right front. You can bring the balance back. This is one of the few tracks that I feel like on the sim where if the balance starts to shift, you can change what you're doing just a little bit, and you can bring that balance back level and kind of get the speed back.
No, I definitely agree with that. Once you start wearing those tires out a little bit, which is very easy to do by pushing hard, and especially when you're at the front, you kind of want to do what you can to save that lead and stay up there. But what you need to do is kind of back off of it a little bit, take some pressure off of those tires, because forcing it in the corners is not going to help you whatsoever. I know that from experience. It's going to pop your tires. It's going to really upset them and upset the balance of the car. And then you're going to end up like Jay, where you're falling back multiple positions here from the lead. And, you know, speaking of the lead here, Tyler Fode is right up there in that battle with Josh Adams. And just to make note of it now, here comes Gerald Campbell leaving pit road. So Gerald Campbell is going to join tonight's event, multiple laps down, but you know what? He could still gain potentially a few points on the night and at least get credited with starting tonight's race. And as we get to the end of the season, the regular season here, every point matters. So watch for a couple of these guys maybe to make some big moves here. I believe there's only one regular season race after this, so a lot of work to be done. And just speaking of work here tonight, biggest mover so far, Garrison Hogan up 14 positions, started back in 37th, running now with Kwame Scott. Kwame up 12 spots, so another big mover there. Seth Rawls up 13 positions, started in the 31st spot, currently 18th, ahead of Chad Frankenfield. And the next biggest mover, Jake Adams, started 23rd, currently running inside the top 10 in the 10th position. And driver going the wrong way is Corey Abbott, down 16 spots.
Yeah, and Jake's another guy I talked to here before the race started, and he was not very confident. He was talking about how he didn't have one-lap speed and hasn't qualified well, and he feels like that's led to a lot of bad races. And he, once again, did not qualify well tonight, but that maybe is a little bit of why he's pushing so hard at the start, you know, just trying to figure out something. It's so hard when you get, you get that bad luck, and it starts to roll, and it just gets bigger and bigger, and it just keeps rolling and spiraling, and it's just, you feel like there's no way out. So far, so good tonight after the poor qualifying effort, driving himself up here into the top 10, and hopefully he can have a good run tonight. And one thing I'm watching here, Jay seems to have stabilized. I seen him get sideways off of 2 a couple times, and that was him, I believe, doing that on purpose. That's exactly what I would have done, what I talked about earlier there. You can change the balance of this car when it gets tight at this racetrack. I can't think, maybe you guys can name a couple, but I can't think of another track on the sim where when you get too tight, that you can bring it back. You can just straddle one of those seams, and every seam, the banking's a little bit different on this new Michigan. Well, it's not new now, it's nearly 10 years old at this point, but you can straddle one of those seams and just kind of play with the throttle and get it sideways and keep that right rear up. And once you do that, that tightness can kind of go away and you can go again. And it looks like he has stabilized there in the 5th spot.
Yeah, he has definitely stabilized here, running 6th right now, just behind David Tooker, just ahead of John Cutlip. Kaner and Cutlip both down 5 spots from the start of the race, so both of those guys lost a couple spots, now looking to at least stabilize until the first pit stop of the night. Of course, 22 laps in at this point. Green all the way thus far. Now I've probably jinxed it, and we're going to go into a string of about 40 cautions, but I just want to check here on Harrison Talon, still ahead of the race leader. So, you know,
Chad Frankenfield.
He's coming in.
Chad to pit row very quick there. Looks like he did get it down to pace speed.
And there is no way
Michael Klein also coming down pit road with him there. I wonder if we're getting close Chris, do you have the fuel numbers here tonight? I know you had a chance
Yeah,
to talk
you
to a
can
couple
you
guys.
can run to 40 if you know what you're doing and you know to not
Looks
just
like
38 to 42 laps is about what you should be able to do. So a
Sure,
lot of
coming
guys
down
were
as
talking
well.
about getting to 40 because if you get to 40, that gets you to 80, which gets you to 120, which is a two-stopper. So Chad is committing to a three-stopper at this point with this move, and I just that without a caution, 3 stops is not going to beat 2 stops.
Yeah, I saw a full service on the car on that stop, so he's got to be short pitting here. Because
Chad
of the
now a lap down, and you know, Brent, you just pointed out right there as Caleb Thompson brings his number 04 down pit road. Looks like Michael Hossack I thought was coming down, but now he's battling with Brandon Key. You pointed out there trying to short pit and maybe go off strategy, see if he can gain some positions, which for a guy like Chad right now, he really needs to do whatever he can to have a shot at the victory tonight. He is not in a playoff spot right now. He has some work to do if he wants to get there, and I think that's what Chad's trying to do right there with his strategy. He is 1 lap down, so he will need a caution to get back there or cycle through with a pretty decent pit stop there. But it'll be interesting to see where Chad Frankenfield cycles back to and who's the next car to come down
Chad
pit
will
road.
be leading by the time these guys pit because most of these guys are not going to pit for at least another 15 laps.
He is, Chris, but what do you think the difference will be should we not get a caution? I think it's going to be...
Oh, if we don't get a caution, he's dead in the water.
It's going to be monstrous.
If we don't get a caution, he won't be in the top 30.
You have to think he pitted like halfway through the fuel run. So that's very early.
He's on as a caution. Like if we can get to the pit stops and then catch a caution at like 45 or 50,
up in the outside wall there,
then he'll be setting great. He'll have the track position to catch a caution. I think what led to him doing this strategy was we know he took off and went really hard.
Battle for the lead.
Yeah, we got a battle for the lead here. Fody versus Adams.
Tyler Popp right there as well, as is Scott Crump. I think Adams, his tires are probably heading the way of Jay Kaner's there. That's Harrison Talon right ahead of the race leaders as well. A little wiggle out of Adams on the high side. That should hand the lead over to the Tylers.
And Chad Frankenfield is making great lap time right now, and he's going to feel like Superman. What led to him, he's coming up, he's about to be in the shot right here. But what led to him making that decision is I think he went really hard.
He's going to go 3 wide here.
Yep, here we go. He's going to send it here off the 2.
And
Chad's going to be 3 wide down into turn number 3 with Tyler Fody and Josh Adams down into the corner. Chad easily clears them, so no harm done there. Could have been interesting as these guys are coming up on Harrison Talon. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris. Josh looks like
you're good.
Josh is struggling a little bit right there.
But I think, Chad did that because, like I said, he wore stuff out. He went so hard, wore stuff out, and he was thinking he was going to have track position by the time it wore out, and then he went through the grass, and once they're wore out, you're not going to drive back from 25th or 30th, wherever he was after that slide through the grass. So this is just a track position play, hoping to catch a caution at the right time.
Next driver down pit road, that is Robert Smith in the 97. We do have Josh Adams that has cleared Tyler Fody here. So look at Josh Adams having a little bit of a resurgence here. That orange car on the bottom, that is Caleb Thompson. Currently a lap down just behind Josh Adams here on the inside of Tyler Fody. Now they're coming up on Harrison Talon. He was on the same strategy as Chad.
Yeah, that 04 is, he's got new shoes as well.
He went for a little slip up in the corner there. I thought the one thing we have to watch here is if Josh goes for the middle and Caleb goes for the bottom, that can make things a little bit tight around Harrison Talon here down into turn number 3. Harry moves up to the outer rim of the racetrack here. Josh stays in the middle. Fody's still right there as Crump and Pop side by side.
Ooh, nearly contact there.
I just heard Brent Jones get excited right there. Sounded like he was at the dentist again, trying to get some teeth yanked out. And that was
that's not for
scary.
2 weeks from now.
Brent, we could get an angry driver out here just to yank it for you.
I could just do that myself if I wanted to do that.
Nah. Save me a lot of... Harry in the wall. Harrison Talon in the wall. Let's go on board
Careful, Harry.
as the leaders are cycling by. Harrison Talon here. One thing actually I do want to quickly point out here, a couple guys that really popping out at me here. Seth Rawls up 17 spots, currently 14th. That's one heck of a gain for Rawls here early on. And 2 cars behind him, you just saw him there looking to the inside of Jeff Green. That is Kwame Scott as Josh Robin comes down pit road. Here we go. That is our first car from the top 15 that is coming down pit road. But Kwame Scott up 21 positions here, looking for 22 on Jeff Green. That is one heck of a gain by Kwame Scott. But that thing that we're going to have to watch right now is the pit cycle, as Josh Robin may have triggered some guys around him to start thinking about it.
Yeah, and it's still too soon. It's like these guys need to run a full fuel run to. I feel like if you're going to make that 3-stop strategy and you're going to try to do it, you got to do it when Chad did. Chad is going to be the best car in the 3-stop strategy because he went ahead and just split that first run up.
I definitely do agree with you there. It doesn't make too much sense to be way off strategy like that.
Yeah, there's no way. I can't speak for you guys. You can go ahead and speak for yourself here, Robert and Brent. There's no way. No way I would have done a 3-stop strategy at Michigan here, knowing that you can make it on 2.
Not at all. In fact, I would have played a little earlier in the second stop if we were going to try to short pit.
Riding on the nose cam here, Tyler Fody, you do see on the hood there, that is Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses, guys, as Tyler Fody looks to the inside of Josh Adams. Again, Blue Egg Marketing, the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Check them out today. Let them know Elite Racing Network and Tyler Fody sent you, as Josh Adams makes a crossover here. He's pulling Tyler Popp with him. Tyler Popp having one heck of a performance tonight. I know he's gained the same amount of spots here as Tyler Fody so far, but I think I'm more impressed with Tyler Popp because he's not always up at the front here, and he's really showing what he can do. Brandon Ultra losing some spots here.
And we're going to cross over again. What a race for the lead.
That one was close.
And right now, you're just getting all the good out of the tires. You're probably 6 laps away from a pit stop. 40's the magic number. Everybody knows that.
Absolutely.
So you're just you're going to go ahead and you're going to race hard here and use what you got.
I was going to say, Brandon Ultra didn't fall into the field the last show. He was like 12 about 4 or 5 laps ago, and he's now back down to like battling for 18th.
This is one heck of a battle here.
Josh Robin's going to get to these guys on brand new tires here in just very short work.
He does not have a lot of room with some of these passes he's making on the inside. That's very aggressive moves by Josh Robin to try to get back up and around the race leaders. He's going to take
be 3
wide here.
It's like a lateness pitting here.
That's a good call right there, Brent Jones.
Fody missed the corner just a little bit.
Oh, and Robin's going to go around the high side. Tyler Popp was looking inside. Glad he did not go there because that would have been 4 wide with the race leaders.
You know who's looking really strong right now? I can't see the lap times. Jacob Adams. Jacob Adams just ran down Ethan Stanley here, and he's about ready to try to make this pass.
Jake Adams on the inside of Ethan Stanley. Gets a nice run on him there to get side-by-side off of turn number 4. Nearly slides up into Ethan Stanley there, though. Now he will just about clear the 92. 92 gets another run on the high side. Adams clears up in front, move Jake Adams to the 9th position
I think
here.
Ethan kind of let that happen there, too. He knew he was almost clear. Ethan's a very smart... Oh, contact with Jay and Scott Crump. Jay's in the wall. Oh, he's going to catch...
Trey Holmes.
And there's Tooker. Tooker might have just slid. Tooker might be okay.
Trey Holmes, Jay Kaner involved. That is caution number 1. Everyone is going to come down pit road. If I'm Chad Frankenfield, I'm coming down as well.
I'll give a call to Leighton on that pit call. He caught a big break pitting there.
Leighton Norgard does stay on the lead lap. He should move up into potentially the race lead. We're going to take a look here. Watching Jay. Oh, Jay just drives right into the rear of Scott Crump. I'm going to try to get a better view here, guys. We're going to go up to the blimp cam. Watching, where's Jay Kaner? There's Jay Kaner right here. Gets a run on Scott Crump. Gets into the right rear. Crump's got him a bit of damage. Jay up into the outside wall. Comes across into the guy with zero luck, Trey Holmes. David Tooker does get the outside wall there, then goes for a little bit of a slide down to the inside here. So David Tooker with some right side damage, potentially suspension as well.
They just put the tally on the 9. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think the 90 came up and got him in the left.
Let's watch that from the blimp once again here, Chris. Watch the feed here. We're going to watch Scott Crump. Watch the grooves on the racetrack. Watch those seams. Crump right now in the middle of that second seam, moves up. Now he's outside that second seam, almost halfway up. Jake Hayner holding the line. I agree, Chris. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was the 90 coming up.
Let's watch this guy right here. He's going to be our race leader, I do believe. Actually,
correction. Leighton did go a lap down before the yellow.
Chad Frankenfield stays out. He's the race leader.
So a correction, Rob.
Only one to stay out. That's going to be weird.
Yeah, Leighton did not stay on the lead lap when he came out of the pits. He went a lap down for the yellow. So correction on that.
Let's go ahead and watch the race off of pit road here. It's going to be pretty darn good. A couple guys lost some spot. Here comes Fody. Here comes Pop. Josh Adams just wins the race off pit road ahead of the Tylers. Scott Crump. I see John Cutlip there. Ethan Stanley and Jake Adams. Joe Francis. Jesse Rasmus round out the top 10. Kwame Scott. Seth Rawls. Wyatt Knadel. Johnny Thomas. Jeff Green. Brandon Key. Andrew Hardcastle. Justin Vandermeer. Dave Carpenter. And Brandon Ultra. We are under caution number 1 here, lap 38, about the third of the way through the Michigan 250. And what that means is we're going to head over to a commercial break, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes' time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here at Michigan International Speedway. That was our friends at iRacing.com as well as TA Services. They are some of our partners here at the Elite Racing Network as well as Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of the Gateway Arch, housing a 1.25 mile oval, a 2 mile road course, and a quarter-mile drag strip, as well as a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. Back down on the racetrack. That's the wrong starter cam there. That was shout out to Canada and U.S. Tyler Fody, Josh Adams on the front row here. Adams will lead them to the green. Green flag back out. We are underway. Just a note for those of you watching at home, Chad Frankenfield did pit on the final opportunity to do so under the caution. He took 1 lap lead for the bonus point and now finds himself back in the 31st position. So we will watch that throughout the event here tonight. We're going to head up.
Oh, we got trouble. Goody and Chad.
Oh, Chad's in it, like you said, spinning. Michael Goodman's involved.
Caution number 2 here. Watch out, guys. Don't hit each other. It looks like, well, it doesn't look like, we see it. Michael Goodman, Chad Frankenfield just crashed there on the back straightaway. I don't think anything significant here, guys, but we'll take a look anyways.
I don't know about significant. Chad's car
Is
briefly
Chad
up
going
in the
3
air.
wide here, or does Goody run into Rory Collins?
I think Roy Collins is going to hit the wall.
Rory hits the wall. Chad, took her again. Oh, Chad got air right. Jay Kaner.
Yeah, I would say Chad's damage is probably not that bad, but
Jay
the way
Kaner
the
was
netcode
involved as
was-
well.
That netcode shot Chad up. Chad's probably got pretty severe damage.
So this was bigger than we first thought. Rory Collins involved, Michael Goodman involved, Chad Frankenfield involved, David Tooker, Harrison Talon, Jay Kaner also involved in the incident. You see Rory Collins in the outside wall, Michael Goodman nowhere to go, Chad nowhere to go, David Tooker nowhere to go, Jay Kaner gets a piece there, goes in the outside wall, Harrison Talon nowhere to go. Into the rear of Jay Kaner. Nose damage on numerous cars here tonight. So Chad's strategy, guys, may actually be what cost him here tonight. I'm going to see if we can get a better look at the nose of that 15. That thing is...
that's severe damage there.
That's not looking very good, guys. So Chad's going to have to come down pit road. Garrison on pit road. Rebilas, Trey Holmes, Josh Robin, and a bunch of the guys from
and
the
now what
25th
this is,
on back.
Where we pitted was right outside the window. The caution's going to get people really close. A lot of these guys up front got that caution, and now it's probably right at the window. You know, you can probably get to 40 to go. But what these guys that are pitting here are doing is they're taking any kind of probably away and saying, we're for sure going to make it. We're going to fuel up. We got tires. I mean, we only ran one lap, but you got 6 sets laying in the pits. You used one. Now you used another one. Still got 4 left here. Probably not going to use all 4 of them. So these guys are just getting the fuel to the end and making sure it's still. There's still some guys who might not be able to get to 80. But it's very few at this point. A lot of these guys up front are smart enough and they're clutching it. They're doing a little bit of max fuel save up here. This caution's probably going to make 99% of the people good to go on one more stop.
Chad Frankenfield coming back onto the racetrack. That's a good sign for the Kick in the Tires fans at home there. Josh Robin and Michael Goodman also rejoining the field. Harrison Talon is on pit road still, as is Jay's car is all kinds of messed up. Wow, I didn't think he took that big of a hit there, but he did. As one thing I want to watch on the restart here, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, this guy's up 27 positions here. Kwame Scott currently running in the 9th spot. I want to go on board with Kwame for this entire restart sequence here. Just see how quickly he can gain spots through the field. It looks like lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car machine. And Barney the flagman, he's still holding that caution flag, but he's ready to go here in just a few moments as you see the rest of the field filing through right now. Early on, obviously, a third of the way through the event, just past a third of the way. What are your guys' thoughts on the action so far? Has anything really caught your eye as maybe not what you expected, or somebody outperforming what you expected them to do?
Yeah, I'll give a shout to Jesse Rasmus. Started 24th. He's found way in the top 10. He's been very due diligent with his driving so far. Pretty good run from him so far.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm really surprised by anybody. We've seen Tyler Popp have strong runs. Jesse's a guy who's had strong runs. He was having a strong run in the Cup race at Gateway, and we had some contact, and it wrecked both of us. So that was unfortunate, being in the top 5 and wrecking up. But Jesse's a good driver, and so is Tyler. And, of course, Ethan Stanley being up there at this point. Is anybody really surprised by? I mean,
I
Ethan
would be
Stanley's
more surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah, Ethan's going for the ARCA championship tomorrow. He's going for, another win here in the Xfinity car. He's anything Ethan climbs into, he finds a way to put it near the front as the pace car is off here.
As I mentioned, we're going to ride on board with Kwame Scott here for the first lap after this restart. Obviously, unless something else takes place on the racetrack. You see a little bit of a checkup from the inside line there, just past the race leaders. Kwame getting on that loud pedal. He's going to look to the inside of Jacob Adams here in just a moment. Watch Kwame try to wheel it up through the pack, running behind Ethan Stanley on the bottom. That's Scott Crump you see up on the high side there. And you saw a little blimp of red. That was John Cutlip, I do believe there. Kwame doing a nice job. And we're going to head back out to see how close this really is. It looks like a little bit of contact there from Ethan Stanley into the back of John Cutlip. As I see a Leighton Norgard. Whoa, this is some bump drafting. Trey Holmes, David Tooker right there. We have a swap of positions. It is John Cutlip, Ethan Stanley side by side for the 5th spot. You see Jake Adams and Kwame Scott side by side. Seth Rawls up there. He's battle for the race lead. Tyler Fody to the inside of Josh Adams. Here comes Tyler Pop as well. You see the nose of the very stubborn Scott Crump looking to the rear of Tyler Pop. So he wants to join that battle. As Pop now side by side with Josh Adams. This may push Adams back just a little bit here. As you see Tyler Fody clear up to the high side. Gonna pull Adams just a little bit there. I saw a shuffle in the midfield.
I'm surprised Josh is putting up this kind of a fight. Josh is typically pretty good about saving his tires and taking care of them and not getting caught up in a race, but it looks like he is caught up racing Tyler Fody right now.
Yeah, these guys are having fun
hurt
here
both
tonight.
of them too. Going to hurt both of them in the long run if we were to run green from here.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on throughout the event. Let's take a look at Chad Frankenfield running a little bit further back. Actually, we have another battle for the lead. So we'll stay up here as Josh Adams goes back to the inside of Tyler Fody. Tyler Pop trying to choose the line to run with here. He looked high, he looked low. Now he's kind of in the middle, just ahead of Scott Crump. So new race leader once again is Josh Adams, but Tyler Fody saying not so soon as he comes back there on the outside.
Great racing at the front. You know, just these
Absolutely.
guys 1 minute per race instead of save here. Really interested to see how this works out for him.
You know, this kind of reminds me of the open wheel race
Three
we
wide
saw at
behind him right
Texas this weekend.
3 wide for, what is that, 6th place?
Yeah, right here, Seth Rawls on the high side. Jake Adams in the middle. That's Ethan Stanley on the bottom here. Getting a little bit of pull from John Cutlip. Watch Jake Adams here slides up a little bit ahead of Seth Rawls. Seth Rawls looking
going in the middle.
towards the middle. We're going to ride nose cam. That's one heck of a view right there. He's got a Chad ton of pace up through the middle. Jake Adams going to lose the spot. Ethan Stanley nearly into Seth Rawls right there.
As a wise move by Jake to back out of that and try to take care of his race car there.
Yeah, Jake thinking big picture here. He's currently in a playoff spot, not locked in, not really one of those top guys right now in the points. So he needs to maximize his performance here tonight and see what he can do to get some points and set himself up rather well for the regular season finale, which I do believe comes next week here on the Elite Racing Network.
Still side by side at the front too. That's incredible stuff.
2x2 up here in the front. Actually now back to single file for the top 2, but side by side for third. Pop and Crump right there. Sounds like kind of mediocre cereal. Pop and Crump. I didn't even get a laugh out of that, so I'm not going to try that one again.
Hey,
It was
I
a
laughed
very
at it.
crunchy joke.
Oh, okay, I'm glad you laughed without queuing up. Let's look a little bit further back. These guys have a bit of history. Brandon Keith, Justin Vandermarl. They've had some history of wrecking each other on the racetrack.
Yeah, but they're both running pretty strong right now. Maybe stronger than what they have most of the rest of the races. I think they're gonna leave that alone tonight as long as they're both running up here in the top 10.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you there, Chris. Chad Frankenfield trying to make some moves up through the rear. Dustin Dewar giving him a bit of a bump draft.
Ooh, Scott Crump, here we go. Scott Crump just tried to take a look on the inside of Tyler Fody.
Crump's up in it right now. Those guys also have a bit of... Ooh, looks like Ethan Stanley gave the wall a little slap there. Tyler Pop bump drafting Tyler Fody down the back straight away. But as I was mentioning there, Crump and Fody have a bit of history. I think Crump and everybody have a bit of history, but especially Crump and Fody.
You know, I know we don't typically do this, but I see the Huck machine cracking the top 15 back there. Pretty solid run for that machine tonight.
Wyatt Candle here in the 84 machine, currently running 14th, up 7 spots in the Hucks machine. Chances are, Dave, if you're watching, we'll be showing this car in caution number 3 of the evening here shortly. Just
I see why you want to go and say that for.
That's
Wow.
a jinx, man. Anytime we show a Hucks machine on the broadcast, if it's me, if it's Gavel, if it's Canadal, there's usually a wreck shortly after.
Hey, didn't Gavel just take the machine to victory lane there on Wednesday night last week?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he
won
did.
it.
Where were we at? Where did we race
were at
last
Gateway.
Wednesday? Oh, that's right. No, we were at Worldwide Technology Raceway, home to a
Same track. It's the
1.25
same track.
home to a 1.25 mile oval, a 2-mile road course, a quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Chris Wright, that is Worldwide Technology Raceway.
At its gateway, it will forever be gateway for me. I do love the sponsorship. Worldwide Technology, thank you for supporting the racing world and the motorsport world and whatnot. But it's always going to be gateway to me.
Let's give this guy a shout out here. Mark Rebilas still doesn't know how to put a banner on his car, but he is the presenting partner of this Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. There goes Trey Holmes. I do
Where's
believe.
it going?
Well, I thought he was falling out because his car dropped from 23rd all the way to 37th on my timing scoring. So glad Trey didn't wreck. Looks like he is falling back on the apron to let guys by as he's dealing with a blinking issue there. I believe race controller Cody Harrington might have made a call to move him to the rear. See through the field here. Joe Francis just outside the top 10 right now. Haven't talked about him much tonight at all. Big fan of barbecue chips and a podcast. That number 35 car. At least he has the banner on, unlike series sponsor Mark Rebilas. But Joe Francis, shout out to him. Johnny
Where is
Thomas.
Mark tonight? Oh, we got a incident here on the Chad Frankenfield he's finding a new line to run down the backstretch.
Chad running on the apron.
Something happened.
He's talking
off
about
the
Mark.
Chad.
Mark's right here. He's running 34th.
Yeah, there's Mark. Look at him taking some pictures. I think that's why Mark doesn't run at the front. He wants to take great pictures.
Yeah, he's taking pictures as he drives along.
That's right.
RebilasPhoto.com for all your photo needs. Dave
And I didn't
Carpenter.
talk to him this week. I mean, he'll do anything, right? Weddings, everything and anything, right?
Man, there was a week he did Super Bowl, then he was at the Daytona 500, then he was doing, I believe, some commercial headshots, as well as, I think, maybe even dance pictures. Like, he does everything. And be sure to check out RebilasPhoto.com. Mark J. Rebilas, great supporter of Elite Racing Leagues. He's a big sponsor of our open wheel stuff, our Grand National Series. Pumps a lot of money into just about every series. So big shout out to Mark. He's not always at the front of these fields, but he has fun doing it and he has fun supporting as well. So give back to those that give to us as well. So RebilasPhoto.com. Josh Adams doing one heck of a job here tonight. Has a Chad ton of pace. Would you not agree, Brenton Jones III?
He's so. He's just been out there all night. He's taking control of this race ever since he's got this recent restart, and it's been cruising.
Now, Brent, from your experience here at Michigan, what would be your strategy? Michael Klein coming down pit road, for those of you keeping score at home. What would be your strategy when it comes to pitting? Would you go an aggressive strategy such as Chad, or would you kind of go with the flow of the race?
It kind of depends where you run at this point of the race. Like earlier in the race, Chad had a little bit of wiggle room, but now you have to be. Now, if you're in the back, it wouldn't hurt to take that towards the mid pack on back. Right now, it'd probably be a better time to take that same strategy Chad did for like an overcut compared to like lap 20. To that point, but you'd have to time it so you don't have to have balanced fuel mileage out or anything, which is going to be hard with the amount of laps left.
And Chris, what would your... Oh, Scott Crump slides up in front of Tyler Pop. What would your strategy be here at
I
Michigan?
really don't think there's a lot of wiggle room to try to short pit. Like, the fuel window is about 40 laps. Well, the race splits into 3 40-lap runs. And where we got that caution, it still splits into a 40-lap run. So, I mean, with the ability to be able to one-stop it versus, doing a short pit and trying to... Short pitting and 2 stops will never work unless you catch yellows. So, I just... There's no way I would pit before I ran out of fuel here and run all the way to 40. Well, run my 40 laps all the way to 80, and then that leaves you 40 to the end. I mean, it splits into 2 40-lap runs perfectly from when that yellow happened.
And Chris, you not see why every one of my abacuses are now smashed on the floor when we rely on computers finally.
Brent Jones still using an abacus to do math out there. Oh, he was. That's right. The angry math monkeys came in and destroyed his old calculating utensils. And Scott Crump has a big moment right there. Goes for a bit of a slide around Tyler Pop there.
Now. But it's just so hard to do anything different when the race splits like this. When you get the race laps and it's like a perfect world there.
I think he sped on pit road. Caleb Thompson comes down.
I believe he was already off sequence. I think he was already...
Caleb is on the lead lap right now. So that will
we're going to go 3 wide. Oh, we're going 3 wide.
Oh, be careful, boys.
Jake Adams, Ethan Stanley, John Cutlip. It's getting close on the high side there. Ethan Stanley steps out just a little bit. Jake Adams nearly gets clobbered on the inside there. Gets back in line behind Ethan Stanley. That's John Cutlip on the high side there. Ethan Stanley on the bottom. Here comes Kwame Scott joining the party there. Up 28 position. Here's Seth Rawls as well and Jesse Rasmus.
If we think about that first run, Jake was really good the second half of that run, and we just crossed over the halfway point. He was really good. Kwame was really good. Those 2 guys were coming through the field. Ethan Stanley was one we saw backing up there at the end of that first run. So I think Jake's cars came to life as he's right in behind Ethan Stanley right now.
Nearly a moment.
Kwame's going to try to take the spot.
I think Kwame's going to have the advantage there. Ethan Stanley was a little bit negative paced in front of that 52.
Tyler Fode was taking a look there on Josh in the 1 and thought better of it.
Fode looked for an opportunity and just could not capitalize right there.
Yeah, but that just touched on the track position thing earlier. When your car really hooks up later in a run, it goes so much better to your advantage than towards the front. It is in the big tag.
Absolutely, and this track does allow a fair bit of passing. We have guys up 29 positions, 15, 16, 20 or so, but you want to make it easier on yourself. You don't want to have to dig out of a hole, and that's what some of these guys have done. And you look at Chad's strategy. Had he not done that off strategy, he would most likely not have been caught up in any incidents so far. Now he's been in 2 or 3 so far, has nose damage, probably off the pace a little bit. He's still only running 26th right now around David Tooker, Trey Holmes, and a Leighton Norgard, and all of those guys do have damage. So I think you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you go off strategy here. You want to run it as long as you can, like you guys both said, and I think going opposite kind of doesn't benefit you at all here.
Yeah, it's just so hard to go opposite when the laps work out like this. A lot of times you can kind of play a couple different strategies and it'll level out without a caution, because the laps will work out where if you don't make an extra stop, the lap times don't fall off as bad here as what you would think. In making one extra stop, you're not going to overcome that at a place like this. It's not like what we saw. Most people here probably are race fans and watched the Cup race at Richmond and saw all the different strategies play out, and that's great. If we had that on the sim, that would be incredible. And at some places, we do a little bit have that, but it has to be a perfect mixture. And Michigan is a place where it is a perfect mixture, but it's a perfect mixture for 2 stops, not 3 stops. You can't overcome making the extra pit stop here.
You'd have to have everything fall your way to make a 3-stopper from here.
Yeah, and when you say everything, that's a caution. A caution would have to fall perfect. Like if you do that, you better, and you catch that caution, better when the race is over, go buy a lottery ticket because it's a big ask to catch a caution exactly when you need it. Like you would have to pit now and say, okay, I need a caution at lap 85 to 90, and then you catch a caution at lap 87. Like that would be absolutely perfect. And if you can get that lucky, go make some money doing it too, because obviously luck is on your side.
Yeah, the Mega Millions is tomorrow night. If you win it, please share half of it with Brent Jones. Thanks.
Don't share it with Brent Jones. Be sure to donate it to the Elite Racing League so we can put on more series side-by-side race leaders right here. Tyler Fody and Josh Adams, sorry. Not Tyler Adams. We don't need more Tylers up at the front here. It's Tyler Pop running third, Scott Krupp fourth, and here's Kwame. Kwame Scott up to the 5th position. He got by John Cutlip and Ethan Stanley. Actually, Ethan Stanley
if I'm
looking
Tyler
back to the
Pop there in
inside.
third, I've been watching these guys run side by side for a lot of laps. I'm going to try to get me a big run, and I'm going to try to take them 3 wide. I'm going to say, you know what? You guys have been mixing it up. Let me send it down in here and see what happens.
As he did look briefly to the inside of
Oh,
John.
blocked it. Fody
That's
with
low.
a big block. Ooh. Josh does not like getting blocked. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I couldn't
If
see
you're gonna
Josh
make a
giving him
move
any
to
sort of
block.
bump or anything, though.
Oh, if you commit to a block, Josh is going to put that in the memory bank for later.
Looks like he's going to be in a tussle for second now.
Here comes
Kwame. Oh,
Left.
contact! Scott Crump tried to pinch Kwame.
Scrump Cop. What did I just call him there? Scott Crump right there gets into it with Kwame Scott. As now Scott's
And look at Jake
gonna
Adams.
fall.
That's what he needed to get the shake-up back to try to get some track position back that he lost.
Here he comes. Ooh, nearly contact. This is going to get hairy right here. Jesse into the side of Scott Crump.
There we go, boys. Mixing it up. Let's do some racing.
About time. Kidding.
And Scott Crump has went from running, 4th last time into 1 to
9th. He's 9th now.
not a great lap.
And
for
you know
Scott
what?
there.
He's about to lose it to Joe Francis and Johnny Thomas as well here if he doesn't have an opportunity to get back by these guys. Let's jump back up to the front. It is Tyler and Tyler at the front. Pop did clear Josh Adams. Adams was looking for an opportunity to go back low. Here he comes to the inside of the Tyler Pop machine. We got to keep our eyes here on Kwame Scott because I think out of these top four, he is the best car on this racetrack right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, the battle is on behind them at about 5th place there.
Side by side, Jake Adams, Ethan Stanley, that's Jesse Rasmus, John Cutlip. There's Scott Crump, Joe Francis, Johnny Thomas, as well as Seth Rawls, Brandon Key, and White Canado. That's one heck of a group right there. Let's see if we can get a good camera view of these guys. We're going to head up to our drone camera. This is currently piloted by David Huckleberry. Be sure to check out Huck at Purdue on Twitter. Tell Dave Huckleberry we said hello.
Oh,
There's Jake
Brandon
Adams.
Saves it somehow. Now, it's hard to say. We haven't talked a lot about him.
We were all grunting and groaning right there about different things, but Brandon Key.
I think we all said Brandon Key. I think we were all on the same thing. Just like,
I said Jake Adams. He nearly had an incident there.
I was going to say, he's having a steady run. He's went up to like 13th.
oh, the Huck machine just about squeezed into the wall.
There's the Huck machine just ahead of Justin Vandermarl. Here comes Vandermarl looking into the top 15.
Oh, we
here.
got Adams looking on Fody down here.
Tyler Adams,
I'm
Josh
gonna tell you
Fody.
what.
I'm messing up all the names here today. Josh Adams,
And here
Tyler
comes
Fody
Kwame.
at the front. Here comes Kwame Scott on the outside of Josh Adams. He's not going to be able to go too far as he's going to get caught up behind Tyler Fody. Josh Adams did what he had to do right there to kind of run Kwame a little bit tight.
Now I'm gonna tell you
Scrub some
what.
speed there.
I have been friends with Josh for a long time, and I know right now Josh is thinking about that block that Fody made. And I would not be surprised to see something happen here. Not a dump, not a wreck, but just he's not going to give Fody a whole lot of room if he gets the opportunity to put his car in a hole.
I'm just keeping an eye on Scott Crump here. I don't think he's going to be content hanging back too long. Here comes Kwame looking for the race lead. 47 laps to go here. Lap 74 of 120 at Michigan. It is the Michigan 250 here on the Elite Racing Network. This is the Rebilas Photography Grand
I think
National
we're about
Series.
to have a lead change. It's that Jaws theme music. You hear it?
Brent, why don't you sing us some Jaws here?
Big run for Kwame here off of 4. Is he going to send it?
The Shark Man himself, Kwame Scott, up to the rear of Tyler Fody, down to the bottom of Tyler Fody. It is new race leader Kwame Scott.
Not yet. Not yet.
Fody's still going to get a run here. We're going to watch these two down the straightaway. I think Kwame's going to get an upper edge into turn number 3, and that's going to allow him to clear the Fody machine. They're very tight into the corner
and
here. There he
Here
goes.
comes Josh Adams coming in there behind him, too. Josh is not going to cut any brakes to that 40 machine. I'm going to tell you right now.
Ooh, Tyler Pop nearly into the back of Josh Adams. As we're watching here, Tyler Pop, Josh Adams chasing down Tyler Fody and Kwame Scott. We are within about 10 laps of the next pit stop. Here
I
comes
think
Josh
5
Robin.
laps. It's going to be a mad rush to pit road here in 5 laps.
Josh Robin to pit road. Current top 10 here for those of you keeping score at home. Kwame Scott, Tyler Fody, Tyler Pop, Josh Adams, Jacob Adams, Ethan Stanley, John Cutlip, Jesse Rasmus, Scott Crump, and Johnny Thomas. The top 10. Closest battle inside the top 5 right now is Tyler Pop and Joshua Adams. Jake Adams right behind them in the 5th position. Nice drive by Jacob here tonight as Josh looks to the inside of Tyler Pop. Nearly ends up inside Tyler Pop here. It's a little close on exit. One thing to point out,
here comes Ethan Stanley behind him again, making the move on Jake.
Ethan Stanley on the inside of Jake Adams. That's a battle for 5th. Update for those of you keeping track at home. Chad Frankenfield not able to gain anything. Still running 25th at this point. Here's John Cutlip pushing the Ethan Stanley machine all the way up into the top 5. Back up here it is. Tyler Fody, Tyler Pop, and Josh Adams. That's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. A little bit of gap to Ethan Stanley. Side by side is John Cutlip as well as Jacob Adams. Here's Jesse Rasmus's nose entering the picture now. There's the 70 giving a push to the 28 of John Cutlip.
Yeah, and I think a couple laps ago, I was wondering, Jake had driven away from these guys. I think Jake got a piece of the wall a couple laps ago looking at that right rear.
I do believe you are correct here as we pull that up. Yeah, a little bit of a scrape there over the club logo on the side of the Jake Adams machine. Here comes the Leighton Norgard down pit road. Kwame is your race leader over the Tylers, and then Josh Adams and Ethan Stanley.
And one reason we're not seeing anybody pit, really, Josh Robin came, but that's not going to be that's not going to be a good call for State Green. All these guys know the fuel window is 40 laps. So
you have to push as far as you can here, Chris.
There's going to be a mad rush to pit road here in the next lap or two. Everybody's going to start coming.
And that may be what causes our next caution. Here goes Brandon Key from the top 15 down pit road. I think he may have sped just a little bit. I believe he got that down. Oh, behind him, Dave Carpenter right there.
Tell you what, the racing is incredible as Josh Robin is just flying by, guys. Oh, that's incredible.
Josh Robin nearly contact from Crump into Rasmus as Crump works his way back up through the top 10 here. Watch Josh Robin diving to the inside of John Cutlip and Ethan Stanley. We're going to watch for another driver to come down pit road from the top 10. We see Dustin Durr just came down pit road. Here's Seth Rawls and Jeff Green coming down pit road. They both were around the 15th position there. Next car down pit road, Andrew Hardcastle. So watch for these top 10 to start thinking about it here. Here's Josh Robin, that red car. I think Tyler Pop's thinking about coming right now.
I think there's going to be a bunch of cars pit right here this lap.
Let's see what these guys opt to do. I don't believe that Josh Adams is coming down pit road yet. He actually will. I stand corrected.
Here comes Jake.
The Adams brothers come down pit road. It's like an episode of the Adams Family here. Adams Family meets Elite Racing League. As we watch behind them, Harrison Talon, Brandon Ultra also on pit road. Who is going to be the top car to come down pit road?
I like that move by the Adams brothers because I think this lap you're going to see a lot of cars.
Abbott,
pit right here.
Rebilas, Collins, Kaner also all down pit road.
I think they got in before the mad rush.
Watching Kwame Scott and Tyler Fody. Kwame stays out.
Oh, here comes a big group here. Scott Crump, Johnny Thomas.
Yep.
Oh, Crump disappears right ahead of Johnny Thomas. That's not good for Johnny. As Casey Hatch also coming down pit road. Solid but quiet run for Casey Hatch so far. We're gonna watch Kwame Scott. Here's Josh Adams coming down pit road, coming off of pit road, basically right there with our race leader Kwame Scott. I hope Kwame's not looking to pit. I think he is.
Looks like
as Josh Adams goes by. Here comes Kwame.
Here comes Fody. Here comes
Kwame, Fody.
Everybody.
Pop. Cutlip stays out.
Man, if Kwame wasn't, we might have some penalties right here, boys.
We definitely had some speed coming down. Fody, Pop, Stanley, Rasmus, Francis, Vandermarl, and Kwame Scott. The 4 cars to stay out right now. Cutlip, Hogan, Knadel, and Hunter Smith. We're going to watch the exit of pit road here because I want to see who is going to win that race off. We see somebody coming off pit road. I think that might be... I'm not sure who car that one is. Kwame Scott?
Tell you what, this group set of pit stops was like what we see at Daytona or Talladega. Everybody's
Ethan
pitting
Stanley jumps Tyler Fody there. So nice job by the Ethan Stanley machine. Here comes John Cutlip, as well as White Knadel, Garrison Hogan, and Hunter Smith down pit road. So that'll hand the lead over to Trey Holmes. Trey Holmes, your new race leader here. He has not pit since lap 41, so he should be down soon. David Tooker in the same boat. And after that, it will actually cycle the race lead over, I do believe, to Josh Robin.
NFL there, though. Not for long, because he's on the oldest tires out here now.
Josh Robin's tires are indeed 6 laps older than that of Josh Adams, who is coming very quickly behind him here. But they
Trey's pitting this time.
Trey Holmes going to come down. David Tooker going to inherit the race lead here. We are 35 laps to go. We'll wait for this to cycle back through before we head to what should be our final commercial break of the night. As David Tooker is remaining on the race course. Trey Holmes coming down to the attention of his pit crew.
Tooker was one of those guys who pitted on the last caution, correct?
David Tooker has not pit since lap 41. So Tooker,
there goes Adams by Robin.
There's Josh Adams. It wasn't even NFL. It was never. So
yeah,
Josh
Kwame,
Adams to the race lead.
Net big winner there was Kwame. He got distance over the guys that pitted with him, and he's actually already passed Jake Adams, who pitted a little bit before him. He's coming up to Josh Robin.
Tooker down pit road.
Close.
Josh Robin is about to have Kwame Scott breathing down his neck here. As Josh Adams is your race leader. Kwame only a second and a half back. See Johnny Tom, three wide, Tyler Pop, Johnny Thomas, Seth, Rocket Man Rawls right there.
Tell you what, nothing gets the field spread out like a good set of green flag stops. Cars are all over this racetrack now.
Absolutely, a mix of cars up here. Looking to see if anyone fell back. Doesn't really look like it. Everyone kind of where they belong on the race course right now. Josh,
it looks like Justin Vandermeer had a bad cycle there. He's outside the top 20. We were talking about him inside the top 15, up around Brandon Key.
Yeah, looks actually like Justin Vandermeer lost nearly 10 spots as he had been running around Brandon Key there. Wyatt Canado lost a couple spots as well. Currently back in 17th with a few cars just behind him there. It is Josh Adams, Kwame Scott, Scott Crump, Ethan Stanley just barely ahead of Tyler Fode, Josh Robin, Jacob Adams side by side, Tyler Pop, Johnny Thomas, Seth Rawls, the top 10. We're going to take a 2-minute commercial break here on the Elite Racing Network. When we come back, we should be taking you to the finish of the Michigan 250.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back here in the Michigan 250, 30 laps to go. It is Josh Adams barely leading over Kwame Scott and Ethan Stanley. Tyler Fode, Scott Crump rounding out the top 5 here. You just heard from iRacing.com as well as TA Services, and TA is one of our premier partners here at the Elite Racing Leagues alongside Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of the St. Louis Gateway Arches, home to a 1.25-mile oval, a 2-mile road course, a quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today, and for all your photography needs, check out rebilasphoto.com. Let Mark Rebilas know that Elite Racing Network sent you. Back on the racetrack, guys, Kwame Scott has just retaken the lead. He is up 35 positions from the start of today's event. Doing a heck of a job out there, showing a Chad ton of pace. What are your thoughts on the race so far?
It's been a great race, I think. Lots of different strategy. The one caution we had didn't really break up the strategy. Kind of fell right at the fuel window there. Everybody got to where they needed to get to here, pitted within the same 2 or 3 lap period, with the exception of Josh Robin, who is needing a caution before the end of this thing to not have to make another green flag stop. But outside of that, I believe most everybody's going to be able to make it to the end, and it's just about when you pitted, what kind of tires you're on your car. And as it sits right now with 30 to go, inside of 30 to go, it's Kwame Scott's race to lose. He's got the freshest tires out of anybody up here at the front. Pitted after, everybody anybody up there. I think maybe Fody pitted the same lap, but just wait and see. Josh Robin, like I said, is going to have to make another stop. He's bleeding spots badly right now. Jake Adams pitted real early, along with his brother Josh, and Jake has really started to bleed spots here as well. Josh, I would imagine, before the end of this race, will probably fall to the back part of the top 10.
Jake is currently in the 9th position right now, so he's nearly outside the top 10. And just quickly, we were talking about this under the commercial break. If a caution comes out, everyone will come down pit road. But Kwame Scott started 36th tonight. He will not exit pit road in the lead if they come down under caution.
He could. With iRacing isn't like real life where the first pit stall is like some kind of big hard thing to overcome, or pit stall 36. You know what I mean? It's all about. It's very, very even on iRacing compared to what we see in real life, where pit boxes really don't matter on the sim.
Yeah, it also depends on the amount of laps you get. Like, if there's a yellow, like someone could short fuel or take 2, so you never know. But otherwise, yeah,
I'll tell you this: if we get another yellow, 4 tires will win the race. Somebody could
100%
see what sticks and do 2 or none. But if you do 2 or none, they're going to pass you like you're sitting still.
You're going to be dead as fried chicken.
Look at Jake Adams out here. Jake Adams pitted what? 2, he's got 2 more laps on his tires than everybody else for the most part, and he's not even in the same zip code right now. He is falling back so hard.
Jake Adams' tires are 2 laps older than that of Kwame Scott, so not a big difference at all. Just a shout out
and they
here.
were on equal tires. They had relatively the same pace for most.
Josh Robin coming down pit road here. So Josh,
yeah, we knew this was coming. We knew he was going to make another stop.
Just ahead of the race leaders, Michael Goodman, another lap car coming up here. Kwame
I'm
should be able to
surprised Robin didn't hold out for a yellow, at this point. But he had fallen back pretty far, so.
If I were in Josh Robin's position, I would absolutely come down pit road if a caution came out. At this point, I think you kind of have to stay out until that point, but
yeah,
I'm not the driver right now, so
I would have never pitted early like he did. Like, he ran way too 5 laps, 6 laps before everybody else pitted. Like, you're just 5 or 6 laps outside the window. Just stay out there and run with them. I know everybody wants to win, and you want to win every race, but sometimes you just cannot put yourself in a lose-lose spot. And in my opinion, when you ran that far already, and then you're going to short pit everybody by 5 laps and have to make another stop, you really set yourself up to have a bad go of things.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, and we've seen some odd strategies tonight that for some have really, really backfired. We've seen that with Josh Robin. Now he finds himself 35th, a lap down at this point. Chad Frankenfield went with an off strategy, trying to do what he could to gain some points. He was outside looking in on the playoffs. Now he's 22nd, still with heavy nose damage. Got caught up in about 3 wrecks earlier on, and that's not really helped him at all here tonight, as you see a little bit of a battle here for the 13th position. Wyatt Canadle, Hunter Smith, Jeff Green.
We're about to have a change at second place here. In the middle of lap traffic. Oh, Josh is on his
my.
Split them do-good cars down the middle.
Oh, and he's a little sideways.
He is
here.
a little bit sideways right there. Ethan Stanley going to have to do the same split, and he does. There's Tyler Fody in the background entering the shot. Nothing Ethan Stanley's going to be able to do right here.
Oh, Scott Crump, big block there on Tyler Pop behind him. And Pop says, I'm coming, buddy.
Oh, they're door to door.
Throw that block all you want.
Crump, Tyler Pop. It's about to pop off here with the 13 on the inside of the number 90 machine. We've seen them into each other. Oh, that nearly ended up with Scott Crump in
I'm
the
kind of
infield
surprised
grass.
Crump is still blocking. He threw that block on Kwame, and Kwame said, I'm still here. I'm not... when you block, you kind of put yourself at the risk of getting wrecked. We'll see if Josh Adams, we'll see if Josh Adams throws a block on Ethan Stanley here. Does not look like it. Ethan pulls to the inside. Josh knows that's
I don't think there was much Josh could do really there. Ethan's got a little bit more pace right now than what Josh Adams has. So Ethan Stanley does get the second position. Actually, he does not. They're still side by side for that position.
Ethan should clear him right down here in 1 and 2. Like, Ethan's newer
Ethan
tires.
should clear him, but should is big word as Josh continues to push on the high side. Ethan comes
Ooh,
out.
Ethan's sideways. Oh, he's
Oh, watching that 92 machine. That was nearly a wreck. It could have taken out Tyler Fody and actually could have helped Josh Adams there. So that would have been a little interesting because at this point, Chris, I can say with 100% confidence, every single car, with maybe the exception of Chad, would come down pit road.
And here comes Fody on the inside.
Caution. Here comes Tyler Fody to the
Oh,
inside.
Oh my goodness.
Pop, and Robin's on new tires. Harry's going to back out.
Robin on the inside. That's Crump and Pop. Prop and Crump. Crump and Pop nearly getting into it here.
They're talking about.
It's like snack. What are they called? Snap, crackle, and pop. Whoa!
Yeah.
Popping into the side of Crump. These guys are getting a little crazy right here.
And they're coming up on Goodman.
Coming up on Goodman. Does Crump push down to try to get through here? Oh, he's nearly into the back of Tyler Pop. Crump gets up and out of the racing line right there as they're going to go by Michael Goodman. Watch for Crump to look to the inside, and Tyler Pop going to say no thank you. 17 to go here in the Michigan 250. We're watching the battle for 5th right now. Tyler Pop, Scott Crump. There is a battle brewing for the 3rd position as well, but this one seems to be
they're coming up on our
most
pole sitter
fruit
here. That battle for 2nd. Pole sitters had a rough go of it there since he won the pole, backed up, and now he's a lap car.
That is Jay Kaner. We saw him involved in a few incidents here tonight. Unfortunate for him, just an innocent bystander pretty much all race long and just caught up in everything. Here's Cody to the bottom. Adams to the high side. They're coming up on the 97 of Robert Smith. Looks like he's channeling his inner Olbica right there. Casey Hatch off the racetrack. Where's Casey? You see him rejoining the race here. As you see Kwame side by side with Josh Robin, now swamp of positions. That is Josh Adams, Tyler Fody, Ethan Stanley right there. Where's that 97 going to go? Is he going to stay high? Is he going to go low?
Oh, Key just whacked the wall for too hard.
Brandon Key with some outside wall contact right there. Looks like he's off pace. I think he may opt to come down pit road. Not too sure.
Just 15 to go there at the line.
He does
Adams
stay
back
out.
Underneath Cody, but
Josh Adams just ahead of Ethan Stanley. Not looking very good on the bottom is Josh Adams.
And
Tyler Pop does get by Jay Kaner. Scott Crump stuck on the inside of him now. So Tyler Pop with a little bit of breathing room as he tries to chase down the Ethan Stanley machine ahead. We're going to keep an eye on that here soon. As Tyler Fody does clear Josh Adams. Ethan Stanley looking to make a pass. 14 to go now for Kwame Scott. See if there's any close battles on the racetrack. Looks like Johnny Thomas as well as Jesse Rasmus and Garrison Hogan battling there for the 7th position.
And one thing of note here, we always point out when Pro Edge is at the front or teammates are at the front. Right now, Lake Norman is 2 for 2. They have 2 cars in this race, and they are currently running 1-2.
Lake Norman 1-2, Pro Edge in 3rd. Independent cars of Stanley and Pop in 4th and 5th. Stay Tuned Esports and Scott Crump in 6th. Garrison Hogan for 21 Savage in 7th. KOR Motorsports, Jesse Rasmus in 8th. Belly Up Racing is Johnny Thomas in 9th. And Mountain Man Motorsports, Jacob Adams currently running in the 10th position. The only Mountain
You doing
Man
the
driver
caution
tonight.
dance over there at Mountain Man Motorsports right now? Trying to keep Jake Adams in the top 10? Because the only way Jake's going to get a top 10 tonight is if something happens and we get the old yellow
Jake's
flag.
got a pretty decent gap over John Cutlip right now. So I think he might be okay because John's going to be battling with Seth Rawls.
I don't know. They've been catching him at a pretty good clip here. They've got it down under a second and a half.
I wouldn't mind if we stayed green. Obviously, as an owner, I'd love to see a caution, give Jake another chance to go for the for top 10, top 5 if possible. But you know, as a commentator, love green
Hey,
flag
what do you
action.
think about Wyatt here? Is Wyatt going to be happy with this run tomorrow night? You know, you'll be up here in the booth with you tomorrow night for that ARCA race. Is he going to be happy with the run tonight, or is he hoping for a caution right now to get some more spots?
You know, I think Brent can agree with me here. If you're a driver that's running about 11th through 15th or so, just outside the top 10, and you know if you get a caution, you're going to have a shot at a solid finish, you're hoping for a caution.
Yeah, but you're also, like, right there where Wyatt's at. You could do a lot worse than running 13th, maybe battling for a top 10 here at the end, because you're going to restart right in that hornet's nest. And if something happens, you're right there where you'll be.
One of those double-edged swords. You want to see it, y'all, just it gets you back in the fight. But, you know, if one slip in front of you or one slip on your end, and you're going to go from 12th to 32nd pretty dang quickly.
Exactly, and if you
100%.
get a caution, Chad Frankenfield's around 20th. He has a good stop, leaves around 17th, 16th. Well, you know he's going to send it. So, like, and he's not the only one out here.
You
who's
know,
gonna be
the thing, especially with a race like this, Chris, being the penultimate race of the regular season, you're kind of thinking big picture, of course. And if you're running 13th, you're like, okay, that's pretty solid race. Probably didn't really have that pace, just kind of got lucky. And ooh, contact Ethan Stanley, Josh Adams, right there. That is for the third position. Adams back to the inside, but you're looking to maximize points here tonight, so you might be happy with 13th. You might also be thinking, damn, if I got a caution, I'm a pretty good short run guy, and I might have an opportunity to maybe have a shot at a top 5 and really maximize the points when a guy like Chad stuck back in 21st. And
yeah,
I know
and Josh Adams
him.
is one of those guys too. Josh and both Adams brothers right now went to yellow. Josh is starting to slide back. Josh is putting up a tough fight right now, trying to hold on to these spots.
Josh doing an admirable job there in 4th, as Ethan Stanley just got a piece of the wall. 9 laps to go. Kwame Scott continues to lead the way.
I mean,
Ethan
Josh
Stanley blocking down a little bit
I don't
here.
think that was a block as much as Josh just drove down into the corner. I've seen Josh do that a couple times, especially into 3. Like,
as
just
they're going
really
by
drives it down.
Mark Rebilas, RebilasPhoto.com, of course, for your photography needs. 8 laps to go. Kwame Scott, Tyler Fode, Ethan Stanley, Josh Adams, Tyler Pop, Scott Crump, Garrison Hogan, Jesse Rasmus, Johnny Thomas, and Jacob Adams, who's now worked his way all the way. Who got in the wall?
I'm gonna tell you what, Tyler Pop is going to get to this battle for second. He might be able to pass them all. I don't know. It's
Ethan Stanley, Josh Adams, side by side just about again. Is Fode just ahead of them, coming to 7 to go.
I mean, we're going to have good battles all over the place. This battle right here, run Ethan and Josh and Tyler and Scott there. But then you got a battle for 10th that's really getting ready to pick up some steam. There's going to be a group of guys trying to pass Jake Adams, and Jake, I'm guessing, is going to race them as hard as he can.
Jake has to do what he has to do to try to stay up there.
And believe me, when you're racing for that spot, when you're racing for 5th, you want 5th. 5th is so much better than 6th. When you're racing for 10th, you want 10th. 10th looks way better than 11th. And coming to 6 to go, there's about 4 or 5 guys that want 10th right there. And you're seeing them all right there lined up behind Jake.
All the way back to Hunter Smith. They're pretty much all right there with Jake. John Cutlip looking to the bottom. Jake Adams on the high side here. I believe Cutlip will get the position. Seth Rawls looking to come through in just a moment as well. 6 laps to go now, as they're going to keep swapping that 10th position. Jake doing what he has to do here, Chris and Brent. He has to race for that position. And
oh yeah, we're coming to 5 to go. Every spot.
Wyatt Canadal getting very close to this battle as well as the run goes on. Strong run for the 84 Hux machine. Here comes Seth Rawls, the Rocket Man, looking to the inside of Jake Adams. Gets back in line. 5 laps to go. Back up to this battle for 3rd. it has kind of dissipated a little bit. Ethan Stanley gets ahead of Josh Adams. Tyler Pop in line there. Scott Crump with no pressure. Garrison Hogan going by the lap car of Rory Collins.
Oh, Ethan Stanley just had a big moment here.
Ooh.
Big moment off of turn 2 for Ethan Stanley. He might have
Josh
hit the
Adams
wall.
grabs the position back here as Ethan Stanley works his way back to the bottom after he had a brief moment. I don't know that he got the wall there, but what I'm seeing is Scott Crump all over the rear end of Tyler Pop here. That is for the fifth position, and as we made note of earlier, they have made contact. Ethan Stanley back to the bottom of Josh Adams. We're gonna have to
right now
watch
Ethan
this
is
one.
not happy because this was a hard pass to make. And then he gets in front of him and he gives it back. Just gives it back in one straightaway. He is like, oh man, I gotta do this again.
Ethan back to the rear of Josh Adams, goes to the inside in turn number 3. Josh blocks to the bottom. Ethan gets up behind him now. He slides up a little bit to the high side. Coming around to 3 laps to go for Kwame Scott. No pressure out back. 2.6 seconds ahead of Tyler Fode. 3.5 ahead of Adams and Stanley, as we see Justin Vandermeer lose a couple of positions there.
The old Huck machine there, boys. She's trying to take 12.
Wyatt Canadle side by side with the Rocky Man. He's looking for the 12 spot.
Nothing happens on Elite Racing Network without Dave being able to put us where we need to be and getting things taken care of. Dave is one of the unsung heroes. He doesn't like to get on here and talk too much, though if you tune into a truck race, I think he talks more than usual. So tune into one of those truck races with Gerald and you'll hear Dave. But he's very much an unsung hero here for everybody at Elite Racing and the Elite Racing Network especially.
Thank you. I want to thank him for tolerating my TV1 joke last week on Twitter, by the way.
As we are 2 to go here, Ethan Stanley way up high.
I think that was his last chance to get second there.
He's going to get a big run. He's trying to build a big run here. And,
if he doesn't get there, Scott Crump may get to 3rd. As Crump not too far behind. One big send, and he might be there. Let's watch this as well. Tyler Pop may try to get back, but Josh Adams is Ethan Stanley on his rear. Coming around to the white flag is Kwame Scott. White flag in the air. Next flag will end this race. Pretty solid race all around. Josh Adams still ahead of Ethan Stanley. We're going to keep our eyes on this battle here. Of course, we will jump back up as Kwame comes around.
Big run here. Ethan nailed the corner.
Here comes Ethan to the bottom.
Last shot here.
Nailed that corner there.
Side by side, here's Ethan Stanley to the inside of Josh Adams.
Ooh, something just happened to Jake Adams. He's going to give up a spot. We can't go back and look at that too much because, we got that battle for second. But, wow, here comes Kwame Scott's going to come off of turn 4 and win.
Kwame takes the victory over Tyler Fode. Ethan Stanley does get Josh Adams at line.
What an effort.
And Jake gave up a ton of spots here at the last lap. He's not going to be happy about that.
Jake Adams just lost another spot. Comes on 14th. Looking at the field here, Kwame Scott, Tyler Fode, Ethan Stanley, Josh Adams, Scott Crump, Tyler Pop, Garrison Hogan, Jesse Rasmus, Johnny Thomas, John Cutlip, Wyatt Canadle in the Hucks machine right there. 11th, Seth Rawls, Hunter Smith, Jake Adams, Jeff Green, Justin Vandermarl, Leighton Norgard, Brandon Ultra, Casey Hatch, Chad Frankenfield, Joe Francis, Trey Holmes, Dave Carpenter, Michael Hosick, David Tooker, Josh Robin, Andrew Hardcastle, Brandon Key, Corey Abbott, Mark Rebilas, and rounding out the field, Rory Collins, Mike Goodman, Dustin Durr, Harrison Talon, Robert Smith, Jake Kaner, Caleb Thompson, Michael Klein, and Gerald Campbell. He's burning it down,
we hit
guys.
on something here? I just saw it, and I forgot to bring it up during the race. But David Carpenter ran that scheme again this week, and just thoughts and prayers with him after everything that they've went through the last couple weeks, and he's driving for a pretty big cause there, and hopefully everything's going good over there and getting better, and the healing has started for David Carpenter and that whole family.
Yeah, it was an honor
Absolutely.
racing. His honor last week probably felt more better about racing for somebody in a long time out there.
As we work
Kwame's
to get
living it up.
as we work to get our podium finishers up here in the booth, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Kwame Scott, Tyler Vody, and Ethan Stanley.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Michigan International Speedway. It is the Michigan 250. As we look at the post-race summary here tonight, our race winner, Kwame Scott, as well as our biggest mover, up 35 positions from his starting spot of 36. Tough luck. Jay Kaner tonight started on the pole, went the exact opposite way of Kwame Scott, losing 35 positions, getting caught up in numerous incidents here tonight. And, of course, most laps led. Josh Adams leading 57 laps tonight. Now joining us in the booth is our third place finisher. Standing by with Brent Jones is Ethan Stanley.
Stanley, this is Brent Jones and Booze. How we feeling about that third place tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Got that last lap pass, and you made it stick.
Actually, second. I'm new to all this. But yeah, that was an amazing pass there. Well, we saw you hit the wall at about 3 to go there. Did you think at any point that was pretty chip for you?
I didn't get too much damage from it, so I thought I might be able to get the draft on him. I think I had a little bit more tires at the end than Josh. But yeah.
That absolutely helps in that situation, especially that late in the race. Any of y'all got anything to add? Robert, Chris?
It was a great run, Ethan. We've seen you do it time and time again here, and whatever you do. You got the ARCA race tomorrow. You had a good run tonight. I want to go back to that pass. I'm curious what was going through your mind there. You fought so hard to make that pass on Josh, right? Such a hard pass to make. Josh was fighting with everything he had, and then you give it all back in a 300-foot span there off of 2. I mean, what's going through your mind when that happens there and you have to make that pass all over again?
I mean, I wasn't too upset. I kind of did it to myself. Tires are really going on the car. Front right was pretty much gone. But just had to tuck back in, and I knew I had a little bit better pace than him. So once I got it down the inside there, I don't think he could have made it stick on the outside. So just got the run to the line.
And what's your outlook for tomorrow? Any pointers you can give anybody about the ARCA race tomorrow night?
I'm going in with no practice, so I don't really know. I think we're at Phoenix. That should be interesting.
I imagine you're still going to be up at the front, right? You know, no practice, doesn't matter. Anything you get in right now, it's going pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, I ran decent there in the trucks when we ran Legacy Phoenix, so I think I should also run pretty decent there in the ARCA car.
Well, Ethan, if Robert doesn't have anything to add, congrats on your run, and what about some sponsors and some thank yous and shout-outs here for you before we send you on out of here?
Oh yeah, big shout out to One Up Games and Repairs based in Bay City, Michigan. This is their home race.
Heck yeah.
Big shout out to them. Big shout out to you guys for making the broadcast happen, commentating, and of course, everybody that makes the league run.
All right, we thank you for your time. We'll see you out there tomorrow. Good luck in that race for all night.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
That was our third place finisher, Ethan Stanley. Now standing by with Chris Wright is our runner-up on the evening, Tyler Vody.
Well, Tyler, you seem to have a pretty strong run tonight, but you didn't quite have anything for your teammate there, Kwame. Did you give him the better motor tonight, or what was the deal with that?
Yeah, something must have got mixed up back at the shop, and we put all the cheated up parts in his car. Yeah, I don't know. He's a heck of a driver. I've definitely learned a lot from him this season. And if there's anyone I'm going to finish, second to, it'd be a teammate. So I'm happy with it. I had a awesome battle with Josh early on for a good amount of laps, really. So shout out to him. But yeah, just kept it straight and smooth and brought it home second.
Yeah, take me back to that battle. You guys were side by side. It felt like about 20 laps tonight. 2 different points of this race, you guys stayed side by side. So how hard were you guys racing at that point? And did you think you guys might wreck? It looked like you guys almost wrecked a couple times. And, I heard some banter back and forth there in the race chat.
Yeah, it was super fun going back and forth. And for the first third of the race, I was kind of just riding with them, trying to see if we could get some separation. And I noticed I was maybe saving just a touch better. And then I would go to make a pass, and he would let me go in and pass him, but then would cross back over, and we just kept doing this thing back and forth. And the amount of times we did that and still kept the pace up to be 1-2 was kind of interesting to see. I thought after all the battling we were going to kind of fade, but he did a heck of a job saving his tires and driving, and we were able to just kind of go back and forth. So it definitely kept it interesting. And I look forward to some more battles later in the season, maybe like that.
Yeah, and it's, just looking at the broader picture here, it's been quite the run here lately for Lake Norman. What has changed, and all of a sudden all these Lake Norman cars finding victory lane after Gavel won last week at Gateway and Kwame winning tonight, and you've got some wins this season. So what's changed here in the last few weeks?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even think about that either, that Gavel had won Wednesday, because I won the trucks last night, and now Kwame's got the B car. So I don't know. We got a good group of people, as you know, going with us this season, and I don't know, we kind of just bounce ideas off, and it seems like the speed all around has kind of picked up. So yeah, hopefully it keeps up. I'm not too sure what it is, but whatever it is, I'm happy with it.
Whatever it is, it'll probably be going tomorrow night for that ARCA race. I'm sure whatever we've got going on is going to be found over there in the tech line.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, boys, you guys got any questions for Tyler? Or we want to get this straight to shout-outs and thank yous and sponsorship stuff here for Tyler.
All right, one question for you, Tyler Fody. Does Blue Egg offer any form of Easter services this Sunday?
That's a good question, Brent. I would have to check with them and get back to you on that.
All right, thank you for answering.
Shout outs there, Fody, sponsors, anything going on? We got Blue Egg Marketing and Lake Norman.
Yeah. My mic cut out there. No. Everyone at Lake Norman, obviously, you were mentioning Kwame. It's been a big help. Josh Robin was running pretty good too. He kind of got off sequence with the fuel and had to make an extra stop. But overall, he's been having a pretty good season too. I think he's about halfway into the playoff picture here. So I think 7th or 8th. So ideally, we can get all of us into the playoffs. And yeah, like you mentioned, Blue Egg Marketing, obviously, for being the primary. Pit Pass Network and Hux for being on there as well. KMP Graphics for painting it. Shout out to you guys for being up here. I love seeing you up here too, Brent. I know this is maybe your second or third time, but it's always cool to have a fresh face up in the booth.
Cheers to that.
Well, all right, Tyler. Thanks for giving us the time. I think your teammate's waiting over here, and go celebrate as a car owner. And do we race Wednesday? We're off, right?
We're off Wednesday.
Got us an off week. Going to get to celebrate this win an extra week. So, congrats on the run, Tyler. Hopefully, I can get some of those parts off of you and Kwame's car and put them on mine here for these next handful of races.
Yeah, we'll see. All right.
That was Tyler Fody, our runner-up here tonight. And finally, standing by with Chris and Brent is our race winner, Kwame Scott.
Kwame, winning again. It's getting...
Again?
Yeah, right? It feels like you win all the time. You're running up at the front.
This is my first one this
season.
It's your first win? And at least in this, in the Grand National Series.
Well, man, I'm so used to you winning all these. You're running up front all these races. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? Then is that what it is?
Yeah, well, I mean, the last couple of races, elite races that I've done, I'm Gateway, I got killed at the end, and then Dover, I got killed.
Oh yeah, and I'm thinking about Martinsville too. I was thinking you won that race, but
Martinsville, that was all me. I just stood up there, but yeah,
yeah, I was sitting right there, and you went right across in front of me there.
yeah, I gave Chris some PTSD from that.
But no late caution tonight to force you to have to go through the gears and maybe make a mistake. You started out back, wanted to pass all the cars, right? That's why we started out back.
Honestly, I took a nap and then I woke up and was like, oh crap, like elite's in 2 minutes. So I woke up and yeah, didn't even really have time to qualify. But I mean, yeah, start from the back just allowed me to drive Miss Daisy and cruise around, save my tires, and yeah, just I saw all those guys up in the top 10 were like really scrapping, and yeah, that's what I like to see whenever I'm saving tires coming from the back like that.
Yeah, and we only had the one caution there, and it kind of fell at the perfect spot where it didn't really mess up any of the strategy, and you had track position at that point back up into the top 10. And we saw you kind of sit there in that 6th to 10th range. Is that by design? Because you sat there for a long time, and then when you would all of a sudden just decided to go, you went right to the front and took control of the race and really never looked back from that point.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even really that I decided to go. It was just everyone else in front of me was just getting loose. I mean, I was getting loose as well, but I think I was just able to control it a lot more than they were, just because I was sitting there riding around for the longest time. And although like once I started, like everyone started to like run up the track and get a little bit loose, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start actually making moves now. And we had a little sketchy moment with Crump there, but yeah, luckily kept going straight, and yeah, was able to get through that and come away with the victory here.
Now, take me through what it's like to be the leader there inside of 10 to go, driving away. You couldn't see what was going on behind you, but there was a whole lot of near misses.
I mean,
So,
I know Josh was holding on for dear life on. I know he pitted like 2 laps earlier than the rest of us in the top 5, and yeah, I know he was definitely racing pretty hard to try to maintain a spot. I was actually surprised that he was able to hold on for that long.
yeah. Now, what are you thinking there? Were you ready for a caution, just assuming we were going to get one, or were you thinking, man, just no let me get to the white flag?
Yeah, I was thinking, man, just let me get to the white flag. I know if I get to the white flag, like, yeah, it's my race. But usually, I know how these races go. Sometimes, whether it's a league race or it's a official race, or doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what it is. There's always some late race caution that comes at like what 10 to go that just throws everything in a frenzy. But I'm really glad we didn't get that tonight.
Well, boys, before we let Kwame talk about his sponsors and shout-outs, you guys got any questions here for our race winner and biggest mover there, Kwame, in case you didn't know? The plus 35 there from the start.
Yeah, how does someone go up 35 spots without losing their minds in the initial start like that? Like, I've always wondered that.
You just gotta just don't drive as hard. That's how I go about it. Just don't let everyone just race and throw switchbacks on each other, and eventually you'll just find that like you're just going faster because you were going slower at the start. It doesn't really this time model. I don't know. Doesn't really make any sense. Too much sense when it comes to that. But yeah, I think it's just drive slower and you'll be faster.
So that sounds good enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything? Yeah. It's it.
And I think a lot of the trick, too, is, you let Chad go up there and race really hard and make a pretty wide move and have his little dust up, and then you start going, right? Like, Chad's out of the pack, so it's like, all right, I feel safe going up through here and passing guys now, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, where did Chad even finish in his race? I don't really remember going by him. He must have already wrecked by then, huh?
Yeah, he had an issue there, 3 wide move on, I think, lap 14, and really got him off cycle. I think he was able to get back to right around 20th there at the end. But yeah, you didn't start moving through the field until after he had went through the front stretch grass.
That was him. Oh, okay, I remember that. I do remember that. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, Kwame, we'll let you get to celebrating here and just wrap this up. Sponsors and shout outs here. Who helps make this thing happen?
Yeah, shout out to 213 HRR. Been representing them ever since I really started league racing. And of course, shout out to Frederick Benjamin, main sponsor of my car. Used my discount code Young Kwame 2 for 10% off on all their products. You need some shampoo or some shaving cream, or I don't know what you need, Chris, but they got it.
They got it. You don't know what I need, but they got it.
Yeah, they got it. They got it.
Sounds good enough for all of us.
Yep. So.
Well, all right, Kwame. Congrats on the win. Another trophy there for Lake Norman. Yeah, piling them up over here.
1-2. Yeah, 1-2. Shout out Tyler.
Yeah, 1-2 for you guys there, and Gavel got it done last week at Gateway. We're off, no race this week, and well, once again, as Fody mentioned, he won the truck race. Quite the role here for Lake Norman. So
yeah,
it's exciting time over there. I don't have any of these trophies. Well, I guess I got one of these trophies. I won that ARCA race, but
there you go.
The roll will end tomorrow.
We got the Lake Norman has the one in every series at this point.
Yeah, but the roll ends tomorrow for the ARCA race. I will not be winning tomorrow night.
Oh no, that's not the right attitude.
Unless you're on the pit box. You gonna be on the pit box for tomorrow night?
Maybe if I don't have. I think I have another league race.
Yeah, see, Kwame can't even be there for a teammate. That's what we have. He's too big for his britches now, winning all these races. Nonetheless, Kwame, great run tonight. Great drive through the field to stay clean and get there. Congrats on the win, and we will see you next week, Martinsville, I believe, for the Xfinity Series.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay, that's gonna be something. Hopefully, I don't spin the tires there and take out the field.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. Kwame's gonna go back to back next week because it's pretty good at Martinsville.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
But we'll see you there, Kwame. Congrats on the win. Go celebrate it up.
Yep, thanks.
That was Kwame Scott, the race winner here tonight, guys. And just before we head off, any final thoughts from you guys?
Easily one of the best races in this series this season. A lot of clean, close racing up front. Just absolutely amazing how this race went tonight. Like, just kudos to the whole field.
Yeah, I agree. It was a great race. We got the best of everything. The one caution didn't really change the strategy. Everybody, raced really hard, but for the most part, it was clean. Lots of tire fall off. The perfect storm tonight here at Michigan to have one yellow and 120 laps, and to see some great battles. I know Kwame kind of drove off and left everybody, but I mean, we still had some great battles there for third. Great battles for 10th at the end. Lots of coming and going, lots of passing. It's everything you could want out of a race there. We had it at Michigan. And next week at Martinsville, I believe that's where all the cautions have ran and hid, and we will see them next week.
Absolutely. Next week at Martinsville should be a race to watch. Tomorrow night, be sure to join us back here on the Elite Racing Network for some action from Legacy Phoenix in the PitPassNetwork.com ARCA series. Chris Wright going for another victory in the series. Hopefully he can get it done, but if not, someone else certainly will. So
Ethan Stanley. You're not going to do this plug for that series and not mention Ethan Stanley.
Ethan Stanley's been on an absolute roll, and I think it might be between you guys, but I think we got to watch out for William White as well. He's been so close all season long, and I think tomorrow might be the night that he gets it done, but be sure to tune in. You'll have myself and Wyatt Canadle on the call. But from here at Martinsville, I want to say thank you to Brent Jones and Chris Wright for joining me on the broadcast tonight. Thanks to Dave Huckleberry for all of his action behind the scenes. Chad Frankenfield, Cody Harrington for stepping in tonight as race control. Nick Massey having a night off. Shout out to all the other admins. The sponsors of the series, of course, RebilasPhoto.com, Worldwide Technology Raceway, Blue League Marketing, and TA Services. And thanks to you at home for tuning in, spending an hour and 59 minutes of your time here with us tonight. And we will see you tomorrow night. We will not see you Wednesday. We'll be back Thursday. Won't be here Sunday, and then we'll kick it off again next week. So thank you to everyone for tuning in, and have yourself a great night.